Hey, Carrie. Be Zoom record. We're in progress, folks. Welcome to the Holistic Equine Academy of Lymphedema. I'm Teresa Mueller. And this evening is actually webinar number 3 of 7. And what I put together was a discover series of what it's like to be an equine lymphatic therapist. So we started off with the hidden equine lymphatic market. Last week, we did why connective tissue matters. It matters a whole lot. And Lachlan, I think that and Kerry and Jeannie, you're going to really be able to relate to this. And then tonight is the professional grooming. So what we did is we gave you information about the market, numbers, then we gave you a view of the loose connective tissue and why it is so important in what we do here with lymphatics. And now we're going to put all that information into our hands-on skills, and you're going to see how it works. And I'll share with you what happened when we had to put Tom down last month. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do, this is actually really, it should be webinar 1 of 7, but I'm just going to do a review, and I do a review every week because other people aren't always on the call. So here's what you need to know, that there are like approximately 9 million horses in the US. About 8% of them are impacted. So that leaves us with 720,000 to 900,000 horses. And this was predominantly all chronic progressive lymphedema and cellulitis, because that is what my specialty is. So when I came back from Germany, nobody had any market analysis on it, none. So I put together this survey, and it's been 10 years, and I collected. Oh, good. Estelle's here. Estelle, welcome. You came in perfect timing. So, anyway, it is really focusing on acute and swelling disorders, particularly CPL and cellulitis. So, it doesn't even impact some of the things they're going to be talking to tonight. And what we're looking at, roughly the acute phase, when a horse comes down with it, it's $1,200 or $1,500 because it's always an emergency. So you get slapped with an emergency fee because somebody's got to come off the table. If there's only 18 hours in a day, whatever the vet works, something's got to come off the table. And I've gotten numerous times a call came, I have an emergency. Can I switch you to another day? Of course so. Then there's a reoccurring phase, and it doesn't stop. You get them in the beginning, it's 1.5, and after a year or two, it's 2, sometimes 3. So on the average years, you're looking anywhere between ten to $15,000 in vet bills. So what we actually estimated was $820 million a year for chronic swelling that doesn't go away. That number is outrageous. It is unacceptable. And I believe that we have the capacity to drop that number like a rock, and you're going to see how we're going to do that. So last week we talked about connective tissue. Going to massage school, we always talked about the tendons, the ligaments, the cartilage, all that. But we spent very little time on understanding what's beneath the surface, what's in underneath the skin. And I'm going to tell you what's underneath the skin, and then it's going to make sense to you why we have $828 million worth of vet bills when something can cost under 300. You know, unbelievable for the owner. But anyway, here we go. So here is a quick review. So the common equine disorders that are impacted by the loose connective tissues, which is directly under skin, is going to be, these are examples. It's not all of them. I'm just taking the ones that I hear from that come in through the survey. Cellulitis. Why? Because cellulitis is a break in the skin. The bacteria gets in and it causes an infection. That is definitely a medical emergency. And I can put that together with chronic progressive lymphedema because many of these horses that have this are the drafts and the draft crosses. It's directly underneath the skin and it gets infection there. plus they have a genetic component to it with the fibrosis, and so that's a medical emergency because they often develop fever. Now, a horse can have an intact lymphatic system at 7 a.m. By 7 p.m. it's shot. That is a medical emergency. Once the fever kicks in and the bacteria gets under here, now you're dealing with destruction because that destroys this tissue underneath the skin. And that's where cellulitis is. So the hives, this is a cause of the hives, is the mast cell. If you ever ate something and you came down with the hives and you get really itchy, all right, this is the little rascal that does it's right underneath the skin. Anhydrosis is the inability for horses to sweat. It's a real problem in the South, particularly because we have the humidity is very high. When the humidity gets high, the horses, when they exercise, the air is filled with so much moisture. It's very hard for them to sweat properly and evaporate that sweat, and so they don't sweat. And here is the sweat gland. It's right underneath the skin, below the surface. All right. And there was a very interesting article I read from a gal down in Georgia, and she says that the FDA doesn't have any approved, listen to this, approved treatment. You like that word? Treatment for the sweat gland issues, these horses that can't sweat. And they did, and I'm surprised at this. They said they did acupuncture and they didn't get much relief. They did this, they did that. I think it's a congested lymphatic system. We're going to touch upon that in a second. Laminitis is another one. The laminae in the horse's hoof is areola connective tissue. It's like glue. And anytime that gets anything infected in here underneath the skin, including abscesses, because the bacteria gets through cracks and so on, just like anything else, it impacts this area here. Why is that significant? Well, if you look at the sweat gland, it's in the dermis. Dermis is made of this right here, loose connective tissue. That's what's in here. So when they get an infection, here's the macrophages, you got white cells and so on. So when an infection gets in here, this is the immune system, part of the lymphatic system that goes to work and tries to destroy that infection. So I think a lot of abscesses, if anybody is a big fan of Dr. Pole, he was forever lancing, my husband is, he's forever lancing abscesses. He just slices it, drains it, puts peroxide, go down the road. And that's because it's directly underneath the skin. So when you start adding up, and this is not all, I can include navicular, I can include suspensory, I can include so many other things in this bucket. I'm just giving you the highlights of why I think this piece here is so misunderstood. The other thing that I believe is missing is, and just hear me out on this, is microbes. We do not understand the microbes that are in here. Let me give you the reason why I believe that. In recent years, you might have heard people go to the beach or the lake or the river, whatever they're canoeing, and they come down with a bad infection. The first thing they're looking at microbes in the water that's causing that. Now they have an amoeba that is a brain activate. It destroys the brain tissue, all right, and it comes from the water. So if you're in space on the moon, they'll want to know what microbes are there. Is there water there? Is there life there? And the first place they look is microbes. In the New York City area, and that you could attest to this, you heard Legionnaire's disease. That's a big thing in New York City. Just a couple of people have passed away, and that's the bacteria from the air ducts. They're not looking for something huge. It's these little rascals that you can't see. And they're right in this area here. And so I think that we potentially, when we understand what we can do as a therapist, is move the congestion out. My next step is understanding the type of microbes that are in this space because it comes from the small digestion starts in the small intestine, and then when it breaks down, it sends the lymph over to the liver. So I want to know what is in those, what microbes are there that are getting passed to the liver, and what kind of microbes have something synergistically connected to the gut that helps destroy this. Because I think we're in the wrong church, wrong pew. I think they think a drug is everything. I think we need to peel back the onion and take a better look at this. So that was webinar number 2. I have it recorded for those who really want it. So, any comments on this at all? Lachlan, I know you're thinking.
So, should, if the immune system is healthy, and I'm thinking back to the first test that we do, the TTS, is that if there's any tightness in the horse's body, whether it's in the neck, whether it's in the shoulders, the barrel, the hindquarters, which is where which is where I tend to find most of it. It's always in the hindquarters. The forelimbs, the neck always seem to have a good amount of give in the skin. The skin is quite loose, but as I go into the hindquarters, it gets really tight. It's
Yep.
often as tight as a drum. Is that But the whole body, the whole skin should be, it should have that give. It should be able to be moved. It should be able to be not super taut. And is that telling us that is that primarily driven by lymph, or are there other things a part of that as well?
It's a lymph, and you brought up a great point. And that's why I picked on you, because you're a thinker there. See this pink in this background? The pink here on that photo?
Yep.
Yeah, that is ground substance. And what you're feeling is ground substance. It's like chicken stock or beef stock or any kind of stock. It gels, okay? And that is directly underneath the skin. And when this gels and gets hard, you can't move these fibers, the collagen, the elastic fibers, they're stuck.
Yeah.
We're like this. So that's why in the background here is all this ground substance. That's what you're feeling. It's congested back there, Lachlan. So, and it's mostly water. So that's why when you start moving it, we start loosening up the collagen, loosening up those elastic fibers. And that's how we get it to move. To anything else? Anyone, Kerry?
No, I agree with you. I mean, our skin is nothing but a coat, and it's got to give with the inside of us, our muscles and all that.
Right. All right. Annette,
And
your opinion,
so,
please.
Teresa, I was thinking about the new research which has emerged about the interstitial with human beings. And now we look at the ground and the matrix of the tissues in horses, and I think that that's going to be a correlation, and that the lymphatic work is going to help align the pathway of the interstitial as well. And, traditional Chinese medicine has been following this for 4,000 years, and it's
Okay.
something,
I know.
new to us. I know. But anyway, so that's my opinion, is that, yes, I think that when you have congestion of any nature, it could be lymphatic, it could be any nature, postural, bad sleeping, whatever. I'm more of a massage therapist for people than for horses, but I have taken your classes because I love them. So, but anyway, that's my opinion. Is yes, I think we're groundbreaking things, and that matrix is definitely also, I think, predisposed to even emotional,
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of
things,
emotional and
blood you don't
energetic
see.
things in there. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So anyway, that's my humble opinion, and it's nice to meet all of you. By the
And
way, I
tell
like to
everybody what
keep
you
my.
teach. Annette, tell everyone
Oh,
what you
I'm
teach.
in my heart, I was a craniosacral therapist before a massage therapist. So I'm actually now, after 30 years, I combine the work of Dr. Upledger, Stanley Rosenberg, Hugh Milne, and I teach craniosacral therapy. And the craniosacral therapy now finally has decided from the doctors that, the lymphatic system exists, which means that our cranial fluids and our lymphatic fluids are also one part of the same team. Imagine that. And
Yeah.
so that's where I think the emotional aspect of this work comes in. And I just got done taking a scar tissue course with Sharon Wheeler, who's fabulous because her approach is gentle. It's not about this pulling apart and stretching. And I think it's coming all back to helping the system align the mind and the body, and also allowing nature to work without, throwing medicine on it, because then you can cause another inflammatory process, whether it's digestive
Oh,
or
please. I can write a book about that.
I bet you can. Anyway, thank you, everybody. That's my mind.
So,
And the other thing is, keep in mind also, because you do the craniosacral piece over here, keep in mind that the brain has a lot of loose connective tissue. It's mostly fat, and fat is connective tissue. So we
Fat
need
and
to be,
water.
we have to keep that in mind. But we're going to move on. But are you beginning to,
Teresa,
you're seeing the connection between the cost and what we don't know and what I think we can fix? Wait till,
Absolutely.
all right, let me just go through this. This is the fun stuff tonight.
Teresa,
Yeah,
can I have ask Annette a quick question?
ask.
Sure.
And that's so as I right, you brought up Chinese medicine, you have the five vital treasures, qi, essence, shen, blood, and then bodily fluids. Do you, everything that you were talking about, do you put that in the bodily fluids category as you think about where the fluids come from, how they're moved around the body from a TCM perspective?
Yeah, well, that was funny because last week we spoke about homeostasis. And this is I'm going to tell a real quick story because you weren't here last week. None of you were. So, anyway, I have this thing about homeostasis, real quick, about this. Let me go back to this because this is kind of funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. Oh, I guess. I don't know. All right, let me go back. I got to go back. How do you go back? Oh, there we go. No, anyway, here we go. All right. So to me, homeostasis, when I Googled it, they're really talking about all this connection in here. This is a very active place. This is not just stuff. Let me tell you, it is active. And I think when you get an infection, it disrupts homeostasis if you get cellulitis. You get it? Because it's in the loose
Yes.
connective tissue. So that's my answer to that. So anyway, I decided that after all this in my head, my husband had a doctor's appointment, so I go with him, and the doctor comes in with this person. She says, "Oh, he's in medical school. He's doing an internship here." Okay. So after the appointment, I said, "I have a question. I have a question for you. Where do you think homeostasis starts? Number one. Number two, what is the relationship between homeostasis, connective tissue, and the lymphatic system?" My husband's doctor had this blank look. It was like going to school and the teacher's asking you a question, and nobody knows the answer. She stumbled and was like, "Oh, well, it's very complicated, the body." So then I looked at the medical student. And I said, "Well, you're in medical school. What did they teach you?" Dead silence. He never said a word. I swear to God. So, and I'm like, maybe we should go back to square one. I don't know. But anyway, let's get on to this. And Lachlan, you're going to love this piece. Hang in there. So, we're talking about the grooming technique. I did further research on the German grooming technique, a long story short, and it has 6 sections. Forget about the territories, folks who don't go there. All right, we're sections. So this is a picture here of the lymphatic. Let me move this up. Can I move it up? This is the lymphatic system. So what I want you to do, or for those who have horses, is to go out and look at your horse and look at the direction of the hair. I believe it works for dogs as well. That's my opinion. I haven't tested it out, but I'm giving you, just listen to my theory here. So here is the face. If you see all the lymphatic, where is it going to? It's going down to the mandibulars here. And if you go up here, Jeannie, you've got a horse with parotid issues. He had an ear infection. Where is it draining? It's going down in here into the jugular, right into the cervical. So what I challenge every one of you to do is to go look at the horse, divide it up in 6 sections, just like you see here. and go look at the direction of the hair. You're going to see a pattern, and you associate that pattern with this. These are the lines that are coming in right into, where are they? The superficial cervical nodes. So, and I did this on Contessa, and this is 1, 2, and this is 3 here. So you could see here where the fit, where the line is going. You're going to see it more in detail. But look at where all the lymphatic, especially up here in the shoulders, where the white is. That is all the fascia, and the fascia is down in here. You could see that. So this, if you look at the horse and you follow their hairlines, it's fascinating. You go to the barrel from here. This is the point of the number 2. It's transverse, and this is the most important watershed of all. A watershed is an area that holds lymph nodes, and you can pass lymph from one to the other, but this is the main one. If you look at the horse's hide, watch where the hair goes. It's going right into the subiliac. All right. So that was really very, very interesting to me. And you're going to see it as it goes around the horse. So when you look at this, and I consider the connective tissue and the lymphatic system here a lining of a coat, and Kerry hit it on the nail, because it covers the internal piece of our body just underneath the surface. It's just like a lining of a coat. So if you go Google, what does the lining of a coat do? It provides structure. All right, it provides structure. It helps glide things. So think about that for a moment. So there's some similarities between the lining of a coat and the connective tissue in the lymphatic system. Any comments?
Absolutely.
Lachlan,
No
did he leave?
questions.
What do you, and remember you were asking me about the tail last year, why it goes up over here, this is there's 6 sections to the grooming technique. I'm just letting you know. I'm updating it in our files. But anyway, this is an interesting photo. If anybody wants this, let me know, and I'll download this and I'll send it out to you. All right. Now let's take a look at the leg. And the reason I say look at the leg, the hair directions on the leg and the lymphatic vessels. Okay, let's take a look at this. Is Contessa's. This here is where all the lymphatic vessels are in the horse's leg. This is the cubital, this is the axillary. All right, now if you notice the hair on her, watch how it goes slantwise. This is crazy. I kept looking at this and I'm like, this is amazing. Why? Because let's think it. If there's good circulation, and we're going to talk about what happened to Tom, good circulation, you're going to have good lymph flow. If you have poor circulation, you're going to have poor lymph flow, and you have poor venous return. Horses have very poor venous return because there's no muscles below the knee and the hock is in the rear. We don't, it's not on this photo, but it's from here down. There's nothing there. And so this is really what helps it. The hoof pumps. I know you're going to think I'm a wacko here. And the lymph flow. What happens is when the horse pushes the pressure on the hoof, it starts the pumping actions to start to move the lymph up. Now you think about the skin, because the hide is a compression garment. So what does the compression garment do? It facilitates the movement of lymph. That's what this does. So every time that the horse moves, even though there's no muscles down here, and it's just pretty much tendons and ligaments, what you see here, look at those lines. Mother Nature was brilliant. The pump starts going up, and then when the horse moves, it starts pulling it up. It's a long way to go to fight gravity. And together in tandem, they help move that lymphatic fluid. That is just, to me, amazing. Amazing. And this is where it is. That's the cubital. Right here is the cubital. That's where this is. And further up is, I'll show you where the axillary is. This is the cubital here, and the axillary is about over here. So this is why I truly do believe that the grooming technique and MLD, because we facilitate the compression garment, facilitates the movement. So you have all of these problems that we have here: cellulitis, CPL, hives, the problem with the sweating, the hydrosis, laminitis, abscesses, all of this. I think that MLD, the grooming techniques that we're teaching, can have a profound impact on that number: $828 million. That's a lot of money that's going down the drain. So let's go take a closer look at this. This is Contessa, and I didn't really brush her because I didn't want to make anything false. You know what I mean? By brushing the hair in the right direction. So I just took these photos with no brushing, no brushing, because I wanted you to see the direction of the hair. Do you see this? Here is the subiliac. It's the second main drain. And you're going to see everything as you see this here as it's going into here. This is connecting the 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 hide with the lymphatic system and keeping the fluid moving. I just noticed something on her. I got to go check that color out. Oh, and that's digestion. All right. Yes. Anybody has a comment? All right. So how does the grooming technique really work? Well, it works by a simple thing: contract and relax. It works by contract and relax. And it's a simple concept, need a simple solution. Are you ready for this, folks? I believe, and I have to Google it, I don't know if it's right or not, but I believe that this concept of contract and relax is one of the laws of nature. Think about this for a minute. Think about this. Every muscle contracts and relaxes, right? That's the job. Contract, relax. All right. Now we have the lymphangians. When they contract here, it opens up here and it empties the fluid into the next valve. Contract, relax. Think about the tide. I don't care if it's a river. I don't care if it's the ocean, it's a stream. What happens when you look at that water? The water comes in, okay, and then it recedes, and it's run by the moon. What is that a form of? Contract, relax. Think about this a minute. How does the water get to the top of a tree for a leaf? It's not just because it rains, it's getting it from the root systems. And it goes contract and relax one at a time. So if you go look through nature and you look through the body, you're going to see, what does the heart do? Contracts, relax. Giving birth, the uterus contracts, relaxes. You breathe, contracts, relaxes. The diaphragm contracts, relaxes. So when you start looking at these body systems, the major systems, including the digestive, a lot of them contract, relax. They may use things like, other terminology, but if you analyze it, it's contract, relax. Think about that. Think about nature, about the water when you see the tide coming in and then the tide going out. It's a form of contract and relax. Think about that. It's based on gravity. I think there's something here, folks. Any comments? I know this is like a wild thing, but I want to know anyone else's opinion or your thoughts.
Can
Well,
you hear me?
yeah, I'm
Teresa?
waiting to hear.
So,
Say something.
well, I don't want to, get carried away because I have a tendency to do that. Well, it's like a craniosacral rhythm.
It
The
is a
brain
rhythm.
fills with fluid. There's a rhythm, but the brain will fill with fluid because it creates the fluid. And then there's a pressure mechanism that's in the
Right.
cells of the brain or the tissues, and it decides, we've got enough fluid here, or else we're going to start doing damage. Right. So then it stops producing fluid, and then the fluid, through movement of other organ functions, has to release through the rest of the body. So
Absolutely.
it's that way. It's just that way, and you can go digestion. What is peristalsis? It's it's an automatic thing. So when we're faced with great stress, again, the emotional body, or if we've been poisoned, we're going to affect that ability, and it's going to cause more dysfunction.
Absolutely. But I'm just saying, I'm just looking to raise awareness about the nature's
Yeah.
law of contract and relax. It's everywhere. It's not complicated. It is simple. Step one, step two. You get it? So I think that we
Yep.
overcomplicate things when things are really simple. And that's my whole point to this tonight. Do you get that? I just wanted to share that concept and put it out there. So as you go through your life or daily things, or when you're looking at studying and everything, I think of contract and relax. So I just wanted to share that concept because that is what lymphatic does. That's cranial sacral as well. We're going to contract and relax. We're going to move the pressure, move the fluid. We're going to relocate it. We're going to move it to someplace else that's not congested. So I just wanted to heighten people's awareness to take a different look at how we manage our horses. That's all.
I have a question.
Ask.
I'm sorry, it's Megan. I was late.
Don't care. Come on in.
So if this is something we do, like how often does do we need to completely like do the lymphatic drainage? Like how long does it last? Like how often does this process need to be done?
That's an excellent question, and I'm going to answer that for you, Megan. I'm so glad that you joined this call because I don't know how much you whatever you miss, you could get on the recording, or I can talk to you. But here's the thing: on a healthy horse, okay, you can do the grooming technique. You can do it once a week. But before you do it, I'm going to teach you one more thing. So hold on that, and I'm going to answer it when we get here. I'm going to tell you what happened with Tom, and I want to get closure for you. Um, in June, at the end of May, our horse Tom, we had him 14 years, colicked, and he would eat, but nothing was coming out. He was the greatest pooper we ever had. He passed manure 8 to 10 manure piles a day. He was a manure machine. So I go out there on Thursday. I'm like, this don't look too good. And then Friday came, it didn't look good at all. So I called the vet. He came Saturday morning. And here's what I did. I followed the hair directions on the hindquarters. All right. I did what they call, Megan, the see, touch, and assess. It is free. You go to the Heal website and you go to resources, and then you go to lymphatic library, and then you click down to where it says um, uh, identified lymphatic congestion. And that takes you about 2 minutes to learn how to do. I swear to God, it's that easy. And so I did his hindquarters, um, and I did the see, touch, and assess method on him. So I used my hands and I went along the lines. Listen to this, folks. The lines of where the hair was to identify congestion in him. And it was on the left side. And I tested his legs in the front. I tested his legs in the back. I groomed him. I lunged him. Called the vet. And the vet comes and he tubed him and he goes, "Look, Teresa, from as far as my arm can reach, this area is clear. It's good." So he said, "I suspect he's got a major impaction deep, deep. That's 70 feet of intestines." And this was not a good news. This was not a good news. So we tubed him. We did what he wanted. He wasn't in pain. He was uncomfortable. And the best way I can give you an analysis is like sometimes when you have to move your bowels and you can feel it in the rectum, but you can't go. You're constipated. That's what it was. And so he tubed him. He pooped the next day. It wasn't good. Yeah, but that's all he did. Called the vet back. And this way, a wonderful, I think her name was Michelle, came. And she tested him and she goes, "Oh, the lymphatic congestion's on the left side. I mean, the I'm listening to him through the stethoscope, and there is less movement on the left than in the right. I was able to pick out where it was through this method, and it's free. You're going to know like that. It's either going to flow good, it's going to be restricted, or it ain't flowing at all. And Tom wasn't flowing at all. And I'm like, oh my God. So, long story short, he went 5 days without passing manure on his own. And the vet came and I called him that morning. I said, look, we came to the point we're going to euthanize him. My husband, we just can't do this. This is going to be a major issue in a matter of hours before he blows up or something major happens. And so the vet comes out. She goes, you know what, Teresa? His gut sounds improved. His capillary refill improved. And and I'm telling you the God's honest truth, there was a little bit better feel in his hide, but the congestion persisted and it just wasn't enough. And let me tell you what I did. I went through that horse and I tested him with the see, touch, and assess method from the rear to the front. And what did it for me, he had phenomenal, lymphatic flow in his left legs that were filling up. So what this was telling me was the congestion was here and now it was moving to the front. The legs blew up. And I said, I can't do this. This horse has been too good. And that was the decision that my husband and I had made. So what really transpired was, look at this, the hair direction told me where to move my hands when I was trying to palpate everything. That is so important. I did the see, touch, and assess method on his legs to determine how much movement there was in there. And there was none. None. And then you could see the veins start popping out, and I'm like, we're done. We're not gonna make it. This is not a simple colic. If it's that deep, I cannot afford to take them down for surgery and then to open them up and tell me, oh, we have to put him down. And that's a 10,000, 15,000 bill, and you still lost the horse. He was 24.
Yeah.
So I had to make a decision. And that was the decision that we made. But I'll tell you what was comforting. And then we groomed him. And let me tell you what was the comforting thing because she was here and she goes, Teresa, I said, maybe we should tube him. My husband said, no, we're going to put him down. Here's the deal. I was at peace. When I felt that congestion from the rear going into the front, it was over, baby. You were, stop while you're ahead. That's all I could tell you. And that's what it taught me. This was so important. These tools, these simple tools, contract, relax. It told me everything I needed to know. It validated what my gut told me. And so this is why I think is every practitioner should be there, should really want this. So anyway, next week, and this was just giving you a highlight of something that really happened. So next week, we're going to talk about manual lymph drainage and the differences between the grooming and the manual lymph drainage. You don't want to miss that because there is a difference. All right. And then I'm going to ask everyone out there, if you haven't done it, join the lymphatic movement. I'm going to be updating the Facebook page. We want horse owners and practitioners on there. And this is really going to be exciting because we need to move this industry. We have $828 million that is going down the tubes, and that we don't have to do that. So I think that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Any comments?
I have a question.
Ask.
Megan again.
All right, Megan, again, I want to go answer your question. Ask and I'll answer your question, hon.
So because I'm really intrigued about this because I know I sent you a message about the myofascial.
I know.
Yeah. So my new horse who you haven't met, I know you guys were here many, many years ago. Is this something that like you would come, like if I wanted to set up a clinic for like me and a few friends, like for you to show us this process?
Let me tell you, Megan, here's the deal. You can do this on your own. I'm right
Oh,
here.
Teresa, I know I can, but I've known you for a very long time. And I'd much rather have you show me.
I would be more than happy to do that. But I would tell you one thing, and regarding the myofascial, can I take this down? Does anybody have any other comments? I want to address this issue, Megan. So hang in there 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to make sure. Is everyone okay? Can I take this down?
Yeah.
Yes, no?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any comments?
I had a
Jeannie,
question.
ask.
Okay, you were mentioning the hair direction,
Yes.
and you were seeing something. I'm just wondering what you were seeing with the hair direction.
Okay, let's go back this. Your horse, Skibo, that's his name,
Mm-hmm.
had an ear. We were suspecting there was an ear infection. And from the parotid all the way down, he's swollen here. If you look from here, this is the lymphatic vessels, Jeannie. They're going down into the drain.
So the hair, the
Is
direction of
match
the
in,
hair,
yeah, the hair matches. I'm
the
gonna
direction.
it the hair matches both the direction of the lymphatic flow, and it also addresses the opposite. And that has to do with the legs. So I don't want to get into that right now, but right now
I'm
what you're
sorry, I don't want
looking
to interrupt. I have a quick question. Does the hair change then as things change, or is it this?
no,
Oh,
this is
okay.
genetic. This is
Okay, so
genetic.
once their natural hair pattern, that's always the pattern.
That's it. That's the way God made them.
Okay.
But what I'm telling you is go out there and look at those horses. You go
Mhm.
look at that hair pattern, and
Mhm.
you're going to see this is the main drain. This is the second main drain. Look, everything is going, all roads lead to Rome. It's
Mhm.
going in there. So when you look at
Mhm.
here, look what they're doing. Let's look from here on. Where is it going? This piece here is going right into the second drain. Do you see that? And from
Mhm.
here, all of this goes this way. Do you get it?
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah.
You
But
see
those,
what I
but
mean?
those are lymphatic. Um,
I'm just telling you the hair direction is
yeah.
giving you a hint on the
Okay.
direction of the lymphatic flow, Jeannie. That's all I'm telling
Okay.
you.
It's
So
like a
Okay.
when
map.
what?
It's like a map.
Yes. You see this? If you put this right here, these are going this way. You see that?
Mhm.
This
Mm-hmm.
way. Now, if you put this here, where are these draining? They're draining up here. So go look at your horse and look at the legs. Look at the direction of the hair, because that's going to help map out the lymphatic system. Isn't that amazing? And we've
Yeah.
Yeah.
missed it for all these years.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, Megan, where are you?
I'm here.
Oh, oh my God, what did I do with this? Me, I do crazy things with the computer anyway. So
That's all
what were
right.
you saying? Let me get all these. How did that?
So I was asking if like because you know my whole thing with the mile whatever that I've never even heard of that.
Myofascial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is, I mean, I'm sure I mean, in my opinion, because I'm in healthcare too, like any sort of lymphatic drainage would also probably be related to that in some sort of sense, because it's all kind of tied together, right?
Yeah,
So,
but I'm going to tell you what, listen to what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to pull this up. Let me go see if I can find it. And this is why I was hesitant. I didn't want to get into the myofascia is connective tissue. It is
okay.
connective tissue. So whatever connective tissue that you're dealing with the lymphatic system. What I'm going to tell you, Megan, you're better off, in my opinion, to start out with the lymphatic first. You got to clear the pathways because it's congestion. It's just like driving on a highway. Let me get this back up again.
That makes total sense.
All right. So if the lymphatic system, let me see, is this one up there? That's one. That's not the one I wanted. I got to go look at I got to find another one that I wanted. But let me just give you an incident. A couple of years ago, I got a call. A lady flew me down to North Carolina to work on a horse. And he was a quarter horse. And she says, I'm getting scared. She goes, he goes buck and blind out of nowhere. They're at a competition, and all of a sudden the horse blows up. And so she says, I went to put his halter on him in the stall, and he turned on me. and I'm getting nervous. And nobody knows what's wrong with him, but I know there's something wrong. I said, well, I don't know what's wrong with him either. I mean, like, you went to how many vets? How much did you spend? And so anyway, I said, let's do the lymphatic work. As God is my witness, this is unbelievable. We're working on him, and all of a sudden, you got to see these bubbles. Come on, I got to go find it. Let me see if I can. How do I do? I don't want to end the call. Um, but we found bubbles going across his abdomen.
Wow.
And this horse had colic before. And I'm like, it was happening in front of our eyes. His name was Walter. And we did the lymphatic work on him. We did the grooming technique. He hasn't done it since. What it was myofascial pain syndrome. And when her husband, thank God he was a bull rider at one point because he had good balance, he would be doing and all of a sudden he'd be riding in the ring and he would just blow up like he was bucking crazy. But you could tell it was a pain response. It wasn't a behavioral thing. He was hurting. And I said, I didn't know what it was. And I racked my brains out. And then one day I was Googling something and bam, there it was. Myofascial pain syndrome is the connective tissue and the fascia clumped together and was hitting the nerves. So every time he sat on the back in a particular place, there was a trigger point, that horse exploded. We got it out. Hasn't done it since. God's on my.
Quick question,
So,
only because some people are probably think I'm crazy for doing this. I was told from a reading of my horse that that's where I needed to focus. I haven't been riding because I have a broken ankle, so it's been a few months. I never really had like specific issues, but apparently this is what he told the person. So
mhm.
I like to listen to my animals. I've had good success with that in the past. And if she said he was tight on the left and right rib cage,
Okay.
would that lymphatic massage or drainage help with the release?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It would loosen that up, Megan. So what you're going to do, I'm going to give you a homework assignment. You're going to go up to my website. Let me see. Oh, I don't know how to. I told you.
Teresa, you can just message me
All
later
right.
because I'd
All
like
right.
to talk to you one on one anyway.
Yeah. All right. So what it is that if you take your hands, Megan, and I'm going to show you what to do and where to go, you're going to feel it. You're going
Okay.
to feel it. It's either loose, it's either resisted, or it's restricted. It ain't that's it. That's the three options you got.
Okay.
All right. So she's accurate. She's on the money. Whoever
Yeah,
this
she said
person
it was
is.
like restricted, like on both rib cages.
Right, right. So what we would do is we would work. Let me bring this up.
While you're bringing it up, what can I just quick question?
Yeah,
What
ask.
would cause that? That's not work. Like that's not being overworked. That's not like a chiropractic or massage issue. That's more internal.
What that is just lymphatic congestion. He wasn't, things get congested. Remember, I don't know if you were there when I was talking about the ground substance.
No, I was late.
Okay,
Sorry.
so that's all right. So I'll go over with you when I see it. So we'll,
Yeah.
we'll go over that. But anyway, it's just the areas that just get congested. It just happens because if something is not moving, let me see if I can get that up.
Does that happen to people too? I'm assuming.
Absolutely happens all the time. What are you kidding me?
Can me and my horse both get a lymphatic drainage from you?
Okay, I do MLD. I still do. I do it in Madison. You can go down to Madison or whatever.
I
I'll
will.
look them up, and I
Don't
don't
put it
know.
past me.
But I would tell you before you do myofascia,
Okay.
honestly, don't do. I'm going to tell you. Go look at the friggin' hair tonight. Go out there, Megan, and look at the hair. Then I want you to
Yeah,
go
I had
do.
no idea the hair had anything to do with any of that.
Nobody does. I discovered this.
It's
Would you
insane.
believe it? So so anyway, my point here is that you're going to do the see, touch, and assess method on them, and you're going to see it. You're going to find all kinds of things that are like, and don't panic. It's just normal stuff. That's all I could tell you. He may
Okay.
have a restriction there, and we can loosen that up. I got to figure out how can I get to that other thing. Does anybody know before I do?
I have a question.
Ask.
So on a mare that has recently foaled and has developed a mastitis, or
Ugh.
sometimes you'll see that when they wean or during the dry off period. How can lymphatic drainage improve that situation? I mean, I know it can, but how specifically, what should I be doing to fix that? I know the other techniques with, milking out frequently and stripping, clean bedding. I mean, I know all the other stuff. I'm looking at how do I take this wonderful information that you have and apply it to that situation?
All right,
Thank you.
what you're gonna all right, first thing you're gonna do is this Estelle?
No, this is T.
Okay, T. Okay, T. What you're going to do is you're going to go do the see, touch, and assess method on horse. You're going to want to get your hands. Let me see. How do I do this? There's got to be a way to do this. I told you I'm not technical. How do I get this smaller? No.
I'm sure everyone would be fine with you emailing the graphic to us later.
Yeah, I wanted to get this up. Oh, I don't want to end it. Um, I don't know how to get back to my main
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
But anyway, T, what I would tell you to do is this. You're gonna want to do, first of all, you're gonna do go watch the hair. First, I'm the first thing I'm gonna tell you. Number two, I want you to go do the see, touch, and assess. And what you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna do is get your hands underneath that tissue there. You be
Mm-hmm.
careful because if she's hot in there or it's restricted, let me tell you, be careful that you don't get bit or kicked because they're going to be very, very defensive, especially in that hindquarters in that groin
Mm-hmm.
area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she
Ours
may,
are used to being touched there.
so she, as long as she, you got to know your horse. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to want to see if it's free flowing, is it restrictive or is it resistant? You're going to know because you're going to feel it right away. She's not going to be free flowing if she's had mastitis. I can tell you that now.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
Mm-hmm.
probably more resistant or totally restricted in that area. I would imagine that with the mastitis, because it's so hard, there's a restriction there. And what you do when you do the grooming technique, you got to get underneath the groin. You got to get up underneath the groin where the leg and the trunk meet, right
Mm-hmm.
where the reproductive organs are. You got to get
Mm-hmm.
your hands in there, and and I would not use a brush in there, only because it's very sensitive tissue,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want to get, so the hands are really the best. I would use gloves.
Okay.
um
They give you good feedback too. Hands do better than a brush.
yeah, well, I'll tell you also what you could do is that you can get some gloves from Tractor Supply. And this is what I do. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna see if my husband can get me some gloves. Paul. Anyway, I want to. I use gloves, and I get them from Tractor Supply, and I go like this, and I want to see if there's resistance there. There's a grip. All right. If there's a grip, that's the glove for you. Why? Because the grip from that is going to grip the top layer of this skin and begin to move it. All right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's going to protect your hand from any sweat, any bacteria getting underneath your nails. You're in a very private area, a very dirty area, because they're sweating all the time. So you certainly don't want to pass on pathogens to you or anybody else. So that's what I would do. I would get the pair of gloves. They go like this, and you could feel it. You'll feel it, and you get your hand underneath there, and you're just going to stretch it, and you're going to see the resistance. If it's moving freely, it's going to be beautiful. If you feel resistance, you're going to feel that. And if you feel that's restricted, it ain't going nowhere, you're going to feel that too. And then you're going to work up into that groin area. So it's on the grooming technique. You need to get underneath that, in that area of the horse, between the leg and where it hits at the trunk.
Okay, now I have a follow-up on that, just so that I'm clear on how I'm supposed to do everything. on the udder itself, the hair goes 16 different directions. There is no uniform direction pointing to, and they do have more than one lymph node there. Um,
You
but
got to
do I
send me a
just
picture. You'll see there's a pattern there, hon. There's a pattern. If it's
like
going
the
in,
overall direction as opposed to individual
yeah, well,
areas?
like in the area of where the subiliac is at the hindquarters, you see it going in different directions, like the whirl. You know what a whirl
Hmm.
is?
Yes, yes. Oh,
It- it-
yes.
yes,
Yes. Hmm.
that is where the lymphatics change, whether you know it or not. If you see a whirl on their head, or you
Yes.
see the whirl on their in the area of the what do you call it? And the subiliac, right where it's the hindquarters is. You'll see
Yeah,
the
right.
whirl there. That means it's a change in direction.
Okay.
I didn't want to
Okay.
get into that tonight, but it is.
Okay. 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 Okay.
That's where it's coming from, hon.
Okay. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate this. Is
See,
very original thought that you have. It's really groundbreaking,
yes, it is.
and I feel that it would also apply. We have dairy goats,
Oh, you would
and
tell, but I got goats too.
yeah, we have 62 is our current count, I think. Um, Dairy goats, and so what I found is a lot of, like, I first learned about GV26 in relation to horses, but I've applied it to goats, and it works perfectly well with goats. And there are just many things that um, that that move across because one creator made everybody, right?
You better
So
believe it. And think about the contract and relax. I think that's
I did. That's why I said that the entire universe works on that principle. I put that in the chat.
yes.
I don't know if you maybe didn't have a chance. A lot of times when you're presenting, you can't really keep up with the chat. But I put in the chat about that the entire universe works on contraction and relax. You talk to any astronomer, and I mean astronomer scientist. I don't mean astrologer, which I'm not denigrating astrology. I'm just saying that we're talking about scientists who just study the physical planets, not their effect on people. They study stars and all that, and the orbits actually are influenced by contraction and relaxation.
Absolutely. So why would our
Mm.
horses be any different?
Right. The entire cosmos runs on this
Okay.
principle.
The
You are
creator did
correct.
it. It is universal
Mm-hmm.
law.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I
So
think this is very original thought on your part, and I
thank
really
you.
appreciate it. And I really think you're onto something, and I want to apply it the best way I can to help the animals.
Well, I would tell you if you know there's been trouble with the website. I got a message from my host, and somebody said they couldn't buy anything. I got to go check it out tomorrow. But
Mm-hmm.
you can go there and learn with us and tab down to the horse owners bundle, and you can purchase it. If you have a problem, you let me know, and we'll get you going. That's for
Okay.
297. That's a steal, folks. This is
Hey,
I had
good.
people who spend between ten and $15,000 on 19 professionals, including three body
Yeah,
workers, and it
I
was a
remember you said the
lymphatic.
first night.
Yep, and there was a congested lymphatic system. None of them recognized it. They didn't know what it was.
Could I also email to you a picture of a glove that we have? They're actually used by mechanics, but they're thin, like exam gloves. They're real thin, so you get good feedback. But they have little nubs all up and down the palms and the fingers, and I think all the way to the tip.
Just check for
Tiny
the
little
grip.
nubs. Oh yeah, it's very grippy.
Well, then that's a good one.
I
That's
use
a good
them.
one.
I use them, to help at birth because
Yes, well, good.
they hang on to the the kids or the foals or whatever you're birthing. um and I'm a retired human paramedic, so a lot of experience under the belt there. Firefighter paramedic anyway. They it's not as slippery. It gives you a better grip when you're trying to you know to help. So
Well, it's funny because when I was in Germany learning this, everything was the grip. I cracked
mm,
up. That's what they
yeah.
were telling us. The grip. I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
I found better. I like the gloves for me
Mm-hmm.
because I can grip this top layer that better than I can with my hands because of the oils and the hair on the
Mhm.
fur. So
Mhm.
when I get that grip, let me tell you, you're going to feel it. He goes, and you can't move it. And when you get that grip from, they ring you $6, $7 at Tractor Supply. Give me a break. It's, you can go to
Mhm.
Walmart and get them. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter. But you got to make sure they don't do this. If it does this, that's useless. You clap your hands and move it, and you will feel the resistance. That is what you're looking for.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you very much.
And then you know what I appreciate your kindness, which you just told me. I would really appreciate it. You put it on social media so we could really educate and help move this industry forward. $828 million is ridiculous. And these
Well, and
people
the animals are
still have a
suffering.
swollen leg.
The main thing is the animals are still suffering. The money is a important but secondary feature. The important thing is the animal is not getting the solution. The animal
No,
is still in pain or discomfort, and in any case is not leading an optimal life, which would be
no.
so easy to fix if the people all knew what you know.
Right. And this is so simple. Contract, relax. Think about
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
simplicity of what's there. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. It's
Thank,
amazing.
thank you again so very much. I really appreciate it.
Right. Well, do you need help? Well, I got to check with my hosting company what happened with the website because somebody said they can't purchase anything. So I got to go in there. But I would tell you to go also, don't forget, go to you resources. Okay. If you need a consultation, you can fill in, be part of the research. And that is important because the first, if you want, I'll be now, T, you signed up for this, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good, because I'll be sending out the links. They're on YouTube for the webinar one and webinar two. And this is going to be
Yeah.
webinar three.
And I did share, we don't have any social media, but I did send your emails. I forwarded all those to my niece and her parents, uh, both because they have three horses. And one of them is 20 years old and has had laminitis
Oh,
recurrently. And so I thought, wow, this could really help, you know.
oh, it definitely.
Yeah.
And
So
here's
I'm
the
sharing
thing.
it with anyone I know that has horses.
Oh, absolutely. And then here's the thing. Haven't, here's the thing. This is what I'm passionate about and what I want from going forward is we're all going to leave a legacy in this world. We are.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's your family, your business, whatever you did. Think about what the legacy is that you want to leave. And what
Mm-hmm.
I want is people to help me. I feel like the lone wolf out there. I need a pack, folks. I'm not being funny. I'm just telling you the truth because what I want to do is change the perception of this industry regarding equine lymphatics. And I need every single person here who is a professional or an owner to pass the word on because that is how we do. It's a grassroots movement. And that's how I see it because we owe it to our horses. $828 million. Seven vets help try to help this lady and they
Mm-hmm.
missed the mark. For four
Mm-hmm.
years, that you're lucky that horse didn't collapse and die. I bet he was on the
Mm-hmm.
verge of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So sad.
It
Well,
was so sad, but it
thank
was
you again
amazing.
so very much because like I said, this is really a whole different lens to approach the problems from. And it doesn't solve only one problem. I mean, this could work on CHF. This could work on, there are a lot of different
Yeah,
things
absolutely.
that this can solve. That, obviously, colic, it can help with colic, but I mean, there are just so many strangles, whatever. There's a lot of different things that it could relieve. And as you said, it's a simple technique and it's just brilliant that you thought of it.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And though, Megan, let me go back to your question. You had said, and let me just paraphrase it so I see if I have it correct, that you want to know how many times you do it a week. Is that correct?
Well, yeah. So, like, if I learn how to do this, like, how often should I be doing this on my horse to keep the lymphatic drainage going? Like,
Okay.
how long does it drain and does it like stay drained kind of thing?
Okay. Here's what the rule of thumb is. Your horse has probably got a little bit congestion, nothing major, right? That's what I'm assuming here. He's just got some congestion.
So
Megan.
I did a reading that said that like he had the
some sort of like tightness with the myofascial on
Right,
his
right,
rib
right.
cage. So I
Okay.
don't, again, this was a reading. Maybe I sound crazy saying it, but I don't
No,
know.
it
I just
isn't.
like to
I do
listen to my
readings all the time. They're on the money.
you know me for over 20 years. You know I listen to my animals.
I know you do. And I listen to mine too. So that's so anyway, what you would do is this. You're going to learn to do the see, touch, and assess. You do the grooming technique. After you do the grooming technique, you get that horse to move because the most important thing he needs to drain. He needs to move that fluid. It's a congested highway. You get on 287, you get on Route 23, you're bumper to bumper, it's congested. What do? You take the side roads, right? To try to beat the traffic wherever you have to go. Think about that for a minute. What all we're doing with whether it's the grooming technique or MLD is creating space, and the body does the rest of the work. That's next week's. We're creating space so
Makes
everything
sense.
can move. And then when everything moves, the body self corrects it. We don't have to do anything. It doesn't. So here's my answer to
So
you.
it's pretty much like if you have a clogged artery that needs to be like cleared out, like it's going to cause issues. So it's like any sort of clearing of like any
Absolutely.
sort. Yeah.
Right. So what you do for your horse, this is what I would recommend, Megan. You're right. You do the see, touch, and assess. Get that down so you know where that horse is tight, where it's resisting, where it's free. That's the first thing. Then you go do the grooming technique. Get that horse to move. You lunge him, you get him to move. Then go back and do the same thing, the see, touch, and assess. And then you assess how much he improved or he didn't improve, whatever it is that it is. Then
Okay.
go back the next day and check to see, touch, and assess. If you feel that he's better, but he's still a little congested, do it again. And that's how you're going to manage that. You're going to use that see, touch, and assess to determine how often I should do that. Because once you decongest him, you're going to be on maintenance
I have a
unless he
question.
has
So
unless he has another problem.
so is it kind of like, okay, so like when you relieve pain or something, like chiropractor, whatever, like they lick their lips and you can see a sign, like will I be able to see some sort of sign from him that it's working or like he
You
feels
will
it?
know. I'm going to tell you what. You will know
Mm-hmm.
by the time it's over.
Okay.
Yep.
Carrie, where are you still on,
Yes.
Carrie? Do you want
Yes.
to explain that to her, please?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
My horse is very expressive. So like if something works, like
Well,
I can
tell her
tell
what
right
happened
away.
with Grace.
Yes. I had a horse that had very bad CPL, and Teresa came and she showed me how to do the technique and everything, and she she blew on me the biggest snot wad that there ever was. She covered me in the front. I mean, it just broke loose.
Wow.
Yep.
And she felt so good every time that I would do that. And I would do it sometimes twice a day. Whenever I noticed her swelling up really bad, I would do it in the evening. I would do it every morning.
Where was
Every
her,
day I did
can I ask where her swelling was that like it came out of her nose?
She,
it. She broke loose from all over. I mean, she was she was swelled up in the groin area,
And it came out
in
her
the
nose.
belly. Yes,
Wow.
it came out. Yeah,
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 she had CPL,
Yeah.
and when we went
yeah,
there, she was bloated. And so
yeah.
when you work when I do MLD, the grooming technique, you always work the face. Well, the horses have a lot of sinus problems, especially now with wildfires. Well, that's another red flag. But anyway, so I did the grooming technique and massage Grace, and then the next day I went back, and she shook that big percheron head of hers, and she slopped Carrie with a wad of snot. We had to have a towel.
Yeah,
It just came
yeah,
right out. It just
Oh,
like it
great. I have
flew
a
across.
perch cross, so I'm sure it'll be a lot of spray.
yeah.
I'm not kidding you. We were like, what? All of a sudden, I saw it airborne and then hit right in the chest. And then we cleared everything out. Her legs went down. You will see, I haven't met a horse yet that has not improved by the time we finished it. I'm
Yeah,
telling you the truth.
Great,
true.
great. Teresa, message me after this so we can set something up.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make sure because I want to set something up with you, but I want you to get into and any questions you can always be part of the research. We give a free consultation because I'm collecting data because without the data, nobody believes you. Nobody believes you. You have no proof. I ate for 10 years. I've been collecting this data. I've gotten calls ready from this from Turkey. They were legitimate. Pakistan, a horse named Crackdown. There was a horse named Atlas in Turkey. Boo Boo from Hong Kong.
Mm.
I mean, like, it's all over the world I get contacts from. So there's it's a huge misunderstanding about the lymphatic system and how it works. And they don't even know how to recognize it, what it is. They don't recognize that possibly the horse can't sweat is a lymphatic congestion. They're looking for a treatment. It's not a treatment. It's a modality.
Do you
So
do you think any of this has anything to do with, I mean, I I don't know how much anybody on here goes on social media and TikTok, but they're doing like it's right now a big beauty trend of the lymphatic drainage with like brushes and crap like on their faces and down their neck and everything. Like are people starting to believe in this now because it's a beauty thing
oh
that like
yeah, yeah. I had a lady come into the spa one day. She was getting married. She goes, I need to drop a few pounds to get into my dress. I swear to God, that's what she told me. And I
Uh-huh.
said, well, I mean, when are you getting married? It can't be next week. It ain't gonna work. She was getting married the next day.
yeah, it's
I
just
hope it
sad that
works.
like
It
humans have to
works.
like care about themselves more than we care about our animals to like make something important.
Yeah, well, lymphatic it's really good for the face because first of all, not only what it clears out the face and it can make your skin look really more youthful. I mean, I'm being honest because you're getting rid of the congestion, you're taking down the sinuses and everything that's in there. This is a very dynamic place. There's loads and loads of lymph nodes in the face. And I'll give you one. I had worked on a lady who had tinnitus and when she comes in, she always does a 90-minute massage. I got to spend 45 minutes on the face. I swear to God. Because what she says, by the time you're done, I can get 3 or 4 days relief before it starts coming back.
Wow.
It really works.
It
And I
does.
think the medical system doesn't spend enough time on the lymphatic system.
No, no.
Where can we find how to learn to do the grooming technique?
Well, if you're a horse owner, you're going to go to our website and you're going to go because like I said, I got to check it out because somebody said they couldn't pay and then I got a mail from my hosting company said there was an issue. I got to check it out tomorrow. But you go down there and you go on where it says learn with us. There's a
Uh-huh.
tab there and you
Right.
tab down where it says horse owners and that's where you purchase it.
The lymphatic bundle.
Yeah,
Is the
it's
lady still on here with the weaning and the mastitis?
that was T.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, when we wean our yearlings and stuff, we put Vicks vapor rub on them. I know that sounds crazy, but we don't really. I mean, last year we didn't put it on, and the mayor got mastitis. So, I mean, it helps to.
So that's the menthol.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
Vicks vapor rub.
Yeah, we don't use commercial pharmaceutical stuff. We do all herbal and organic.
Good for you.
Mhm.
But I do, that's oil of wintergreen that has that a natural real oil of wintergreen. If you grow your Gaultheria procumbens and then you can just dry it and then put it in some coconut or olive oil. I like coconut better because I feel it penetrates a little better and carries whatever you're asking it to a little deeper than olive does. I feel like olive sits on the skin a little more. But I mean,
Castor oil would be really good too.
yeah,
Absolutely.
It's
a lot of
more
people,
absorbent.
yeah, a lot of people really like that. I'm nervous to have it around because of small children and dogs. Um, but anyway, and if they groom it off, but anyhow, the stuff I make up, has that in it, and we do use that, and I use it a lot in a blend with comfrey.
Yeah.
And
Humphrey's very good.
yeah, and so I do all of those things, and that would be similar to vapor. I've never put that on an udder. We have used
It helps soothe it and it helps reduce the inflammation and,
hmm
you know,
and
it just works. I don't know
yeah,
how, but it just
yeah,
works.
yeah, it does. And um, but we've used other preparations before, made with various essential oils, um, to get to it, and normally that does break it up. And there was a veterinarian who worked with Organic Valley, the milk producers, Wisconsin milk producers, for years and years and years, Dr. Paul Detloff, who has passed on now, but he felt that most of the mastitis originated in cattle in the upper third. He did work with horses and he did work with goats and he did work with sheep, but he worked mostly with cattle, milk cattle, dairy cattle. And he felt that it originated in the upper third of the udder, and that's where it was really important to get your topical treatment.
And
And so,
you know what that udder is? Connective tissue, just like breast tissue.
Yep.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So we followed that using the essential oil preparations, and turmeric. Also used a lot of turmeric, even though that's drying. It's so disinfecting, antimicrobial. Anyway, and so we've had good results before, but we've had a couple that are just kind of problematic and that need a little more something else. And I thought this might
They're
be
probably
a little bit better.
congested, and I'm going to give you an educated guess here. I bet you that there's a spot that is just congested and it keeps just reinfecting itself. And if you can unblock it and get it moving, you may be able to reduce the incidence of it. And remember, it's connective tissue. And in that, and here's the other thing that most people don't even realize, in that connective tissue, just right underneath the surface here, okay, most of that that's in CPL and in cellulitis is strep and staph, and that is a killer. So any kind of pathogens or fluid that gets stuck in here that can't move destroys the tissue. So we really want to get on that, Tia, because whatever is in there, if there's an infection, we want to get it out, let the body go heal itself. And because if there's scar tissue, here's the other thing: if it destroys the tissue and causes scar, lymph can't pass scar. That's why the geldings swell up, because when they were gelded, they cut through the lymphatics. They didn't know that. So when I was in Germany, Professor von Rottenfeld said it is a very small place where you geld a horse where there are no lymphatics. And we're not taught that in this country. So you see a lot of geldings, 8, 10, 12 years old, stock up when they come in to the barn overnight, and then you turn them out and they run and they're active and the swelling goes down. That is a lymphatic issue because lymph does not pass scar. So what we want to make sure, Tia, is that the infection gets cleared, and any scar tissue that's there that we can manipulate and break up, that we can now move the lymph so we can eliminate any of that mastitis from coming back, or at least reduce it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so very much.
And I'll help you. What I also do is, where are you from, Tia?
West Central Illinois.
Okay. All right. So what we do is I help everybody. I don't care where you are. I helped the lady in Ghana, Africa, last year. This was a real sad story. She contacts me. She was British and she lived in Ghana. And she had this mare. She had it since she was like a teenager. She was like 24, 25, something like that. And she said she came down with cellulitis and that she wasn't doing too good. She wasn't walking properly. Let me tell you, when a horse has cellulitis and the leg is swollen, long there's no fever, they can pretty much move. All right. She said she's not moving, but my vet told me to keep her moving. And I'm like, that's kind of like contraindication to me. If your horse has cellulitis and they're on a band of antibiotics, the swelling and the fever go down, they're able to move. If they're not able to move and the swelling is there and they're in pain, we have another complicated issue. It could be side bone, it could be a suspensor, it could be whatever. All right. So I said, let's do WhatsApp. So we get on the phone and she shows me the groom attempts to walk this horse. This horse couldn't walk. I said to the woman, her name was, I think, Petrie, whatever, I can't remember her name, and I said, sweetheart, I said, you need to get a vet out there ASAP. I said, there is something wrong with this horse. This is not just lymphatic. I don't know what it is, but this horse is in a lot of pain and do not move her. And they were telling her to move her in the pasture. And I said, you do what you want. She goes, well, we have very limited resources here in Ghana. I said, well, what can I do about that? Nothing, right? I said, I'm just telling you there's something more ominous going on. She texts me back a day or two later, and she had an x-ray done. And she writes in the WhatsApp, oh, here's the picture. The horse has a fracture. Well, that would make sense up by the cannon bone where the joint was. Well, all right, if you got a fracture there, yeah, it would be hard to kind of walk on. I get that. And when it may about a half hour later, I get a text message. It was a bone infection. And I sent my condolences. There's nothing you're going to do with a bone infection. The only thing, no amount of antibiotics, and this horse was already on antibiotics because of the supposedly, quote, the cellulitis. I'm wondering if it was really the bone infection or a combination of both. Whatever happened, you don't know which first came first, chicken or the egg. And I said, please let me know what happened. And she never even answered me. She never answered me because when you come down with a bone infection, there's only one other option is to euthanize him.
Very sad.
It was very, very sad. And here they were. Now, what was sad about it is she had spent weeks trying to get this horse to move in the pen because that's what she was told. But I said, but look at her. She can't move. She's in pain. And that's the truth. So we got Ghana, you got New Zealand, I got Hong Kong, Pakistan, a horse. I didn't even know they did racing in Pakistan. She's a thoroughbred. Her name was Crackdown. She had an injury on the track. But anyway, that's the story, folks. I'm sticking to it. So is there anything else I can do before we close out? Megan, did I answer all your questions? Megan, yoo-hoo. I guess she be left. So anyway, does anyone have any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I did try to purchase on your website, and yeah, it's just you fill out the form and it just spins, so it's not working.
What was that? It's not working?
It's not working. I tried to fill out the form and
Yeah, okay. I'll go in and check it out tomorrow
yeah,
then. All right,
yeah.
that's what happened. All right. So, and I'll get back to you. Just make sure that you email me, at info@healedequine.com. All right. And so I could reach out to you. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's too late.
Sure.
I'm too tired at this point.
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to thank everybody, and whatever you do, be kind and pass it on. We have got to change the perception of what we have here. It's right in front of our eyes and it's just below the surface. This is doable, folks. Everyone can do it. Everyone. All right. So next week, join me for the manual lymph drainage. What's the difference between the grooming and the manual drainage? Because they both follow the anatomical flow. So we're going to talk about that. All right. So have a great week. If you have any questions, email me and I'll be more than happy to reach out to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
All right. And just pass it on. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.